Hey, welcome here to the Sharpe Show. It is a little bit about 7:30 on the East Coast here, and here I am again. A tad late. This campaign season has been murder on me, as you can imagine, and we just keep going to the best of our ability. I was away for 4 days this weekend. I was in Rochester, and then I was in Utica, then Downsville, and then Mount Kisco in Westchester. So 4 separate stops. Celebrating, I think, something that I find amazing. Some of you may or may not care. But for those you don't know, there are 62 counties in New York State, and I have visited every one of them for the past 5 years. Yes, everyone from the smallest one in population, being Hamilton County with a mere 4,500 people, to the largest one, Brooklyn, which is 2.3 million people. I've been to all of them. To the smallest one by size, which is Manhattan Island, to the largest one, which is St. Lawrence County in the North Country. So, yes, I've been across this state 5 times in a row, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and now 2022. But more importantly, you will find other candidates say they've done it. And some of them kind of maybe have here or there. But when they go and across this state, they go from Democratic fundraiser to Democratic fundraiser or Republican fundraiser to Republican fundraiser, and usually charge people lots of money to go to their events. And most people there are Republican, stalwarts or Democratic, stalwarts who sit there and go, yay, and wave flags and signs. When I cross this state, every single time, and you've seen me do it, I go to individual local small businesses. And you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to get there. Please do if you want to. I could use the money desperately for the campaign. So if you have thousands of dollars, please submit that, but not required. What do I ask you to do to come to any of my events? And many of you have been to my events. I've done literally hundreds of them over the course of the last 5 years. I think about 500 events or so is my guess in that area. That's a guess. So with those events, what do I always ask? One thing only. Buy something from the local vendor. That's it. A cup of coffee, a drink, a sandwich, a meal, whatever. Buy something. Sit down in that place and support that local business owner. That is the price for entry to come see me. Buy a soda. That's it. A cup of coffee, whatever. Support that local business owner. That is the price to come see me at events. I go to diners, and sometimes I go to gun shops, vape shops. I ask you to come in and buy something there if you could. Whatever you can. I want you to go do something at the local places that I go to, because I do support the local businesses. I do talk the talk. You hear me talking it, and now I walk the walk. And I think that is an important piece. Whether you support my campaign or not, whether you think I'm doing the right thing or not, I hope at least you see that I'm serious. And if you decide that I'm an example for you, I hope you do, then please travel your area that you're running for, whatever that is, whether that's local or state, whatever, and travel and meet the people. And don't just meet supporters, because when you come to my event, you can be angry at my event. You can tell me I'm wrong at my event. In fact, my event at Syracuse, people were mad at me. This happens. No one yelled at me this trip, though. Sometimes when I go into this, people will actually come to my event and yell at me. That does happen. Some of you seen it happen live. It does happen. But many of them will say things like, who the hell are you? I never heard of you. That will actually happen at my event. And I'll have to talk and show them who I am. So this is what I think is the right way of doing things and what they should be doing. And it's why I'm able to so often, when you say, Larry, how do you know what's happening? Like, how can you tell a story about something that's really happening? Because they told me the story. And now I have a bigger platform than the individual New Yorker. I wish I had a bigger platform, but my platform is bigger than the individual New Yorker. So I use that platform to tell their stories. And they know that. So they go, let me tell Larry my story so he will tell other people my story. Maybe somebody will care. So far, people aren't caring, which is sad, but I'm still trying. Look, if you know this is going to be good, this show, by the way, is going to be about something that some of you should care about. Guns. Yeah, it is. And what some people are saying about guns and what some people aren't doing about guns. And if you know it's going to be juicy and spicy, because it will be, then do me that favor. Click that like button right now. And if you don't like me, click the down button. I don't care. Click a button. Get the algorithms going. Comment, say something, how you doing, whatever. Share it to the best of your ability. And if you're watching on YouTube now, right now is time to click that subscribe button if you haven't. Do it right now if you haven't. Please do so. It does matter tremendously. And if you want to support the show for free, go to the World's Smallest Political Quiz, which is at theadvocates.org. You can click that link right there. That test is a 2-minute test, not even. to see kind of where you go, progressive, conservative, libertarian, authoritarian, moderate, where you are. And why that matters so much is it gets you thinking about that. And you can share that with your family and friends, and they can see it and they can start talking about it. You can share that online. People get invested, start talking back and forth. We cannot turn people to our way of thinking if we don't talk to them and they don't somehow introspectively get it. If you want to support me in my final week of this campaign, please, every bit counts. I need those ads right now. I'm still literally handing out, some of you know this, I'm still literally handing out door hangers. Yes, LarrySharpe.com/donate. If you have any cash now's time to do it. You made some money off your Halloween candy, selling it to kids because you're that crazy guy. Throw me a cut. Give me a cut of that. Whatever you got, it does matter. Every little bit counts. I'm still handing out door signs. I am not going to quit. I'm trying my best to be the example that so many third-party candidates, particularly libertarians, have been bad at in the past. We're much better now, and I hope I help to do that. Many times when we start running, we see, oh my God, we're not going to win, so just quit. Don't bother. Who cares? No, we fight till the end. We fight to the end. If I'm going to sit here and tell you that if I'm elected, I'm going to fight for you, that's talking the talk. I better walk the walk. So I'm doing it. I'm fighting until the end. We got to get 130,000 votes so we can get a party in this state. So we can have a party in the state for this year, next year, and a presidential year. So we can keep doing this. So get behind me. Donate if you can. But no matter what, write me in if you're in New York State. If you're not in New York State, tell your friends. It does matter. Please do that. It's important. So let me go on to something else if I could. A lot of comments. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, wow. So let me grab some comments real fast before I go, if I could. So yes, Jelly says, good evening. I appreciate that. Thank you. Absolutely. Ross says, I hope you get 3.5%. I hope I get 130,000 votes, whatever that percentage is, because that's the number, according to New York State law, that will make us a party next year. That's what I want. Absolutely. John says, hey, Larry, I would have stamped your name, but I made an error and had to scrap that ballot and start all over and the polling site manager told me stamps weren't valid because it wasn't pen ink. Wow, that's garbage. Look at that. Thank you for that, John. More poll workers. That's not a thing. I read the law. It says you can stamp it in. It doesn't matter what the ink is. Wow. They're going out of their way already to hammer us. That's embarrassing, John. Thank you for bringing that up. Wow. The state, why do people support the left-right paradigm? That's exactly right. Oh, my God. All right. Anyway, thank you, John. He then says, I did say to cast my ballot for you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Scott says, Larry, you are the best the human race has to offer, Larry. I am not, Scott. Thank you so much for that. I try to be the best I can. I try to be the best I can, but I don't think I'm the best. But thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Sam says, I love going to Larry's event. Sam, you do show up. Thank you. I keep saying that. Yes, thank you. That's important. You do show up, and I mean that. Thank you very much. That's awesome. All right. Joel says, Cenk Uygur lies about a great many things. His freak out on the 2016 election night coverage is funny. Let me do that right now. Let me go to what they said. Right? And what bothers me about this is the Young Turks. For those who don't know, the Young Turks are a very popular left-leaning Democrat establishment type online media is what they are. They would say they're anti-mainstream. They would say that. They're pretty close to mainstream, though, in my view. But you might decide. Either way, they are happily, eagerly left-leaning. They will tell you that all day long. They think everyone on the right's wrong. Everyone's conservative is stupid. Everyone who's Republican is bad. They believe all that stuff, right? That's what they believe. And, of course, they hate guns. Guns are bad. Guns are going to kill you. So I'm going to show you what they actually put out. And it shows you literally, and I'm not making this up, the lies they put out. This is what they think. They're talking about now Texas and guns.
Last September, Texas's permitless carry law went into effect, and it's gone pretty much as you might expect. Notably, not as they said it would. They claimed that allowing everyone to carry guns without proper documentation would result in us all being safer. And if that...
Now, look the way he says that. This happened last September, so it's been a year. And he's like, what they said, and without proper documentation, in his view, he believes this. Now, he's not just saying it. He believes this. Proper documentation is the only way to carry guns. So I guess only cops get to carry guns, I guess. But listen to what he says.
makes sense to you, then I'm gonna need you to pay attention because we're gonna reveal what actually has happened.
And that's the part that bothers me tremendously about this entire thing. And so many of these people, and when I say these people, I mean people like him, most media that is this biased, they laugh at you. And if you think that's true, let me show you something because you're clearly stupid and I'm so super smart. This guy thinks he's smarter than me. He's not, but he thinks he is, and he's going to talk that way. And watch him go. Yeah, they thought it was going to be better, but watch this.
And after that, in one high-profile case earlier this year, a guy named Tony Earls pulled out his handgun and opened fire, hoping to strike a man who had just robbed him and his wife at an ATM in Houston. Instead, he struck Arlene Alvarez, a 9-year-old girl seated in a passing pickup, killing her. So
now that is a terrible thing, 100% a terrible thing. And he says in one high-profile case, he doesn't say it's the most common case or it happens all the time. He doesn't say that. Why? Because it's actually not true, meaning it doesn't happen all the time. This is a rarity and it's bad, and we should feel terrible about this. The idea of loosening or more liberalizing, like that name, the gun laws, is not to stop every single accidental death. I wish we could. That would be awesome. But the goal is to lessen it. The goal is to lessen the harm, right? There will still be people doing bad things, of course. But we think and we believe in our hearts, those of us who support, the right to carry and the right to bear arms, we believe sincerely that overall harm will be reduced. And that is true, and I'll show you that in a second.
It's the exact case of when this sort of thing is supposed to make you safer. It's a dangerous world, why not have a gun? You can defend yourself and maybe kill a random 9-year-old nearby. A grand jury, by the way, declined to indict the man, agreeing with his lawyer that, quote, everything about that situation we believe and contend was justified under Texas law.
So this is a group of people who would say, oh my God, you broke a law, even though it's a dumb law, so go to jail no matter what. They would say that. In this case, this guy broke no law, but I don't care, go to jail. Their concept is go to jail because we're mad at you. That's the issue. Remember something, Judge Jim Gray said something that made a lot of sense to me. I never forget it. He said, prison is for people we're afraid of, not people we don't like, right? Now that isn't a perfect saying, but it's a good general rule, right? If you're going to commit harm or have committed harm, I get it. But in this case, this person was trying to defend themselves. It was a mistake. I get that. Maybe there was some civil case that should have been filed against him. I wouldn't be against that. He made an error and maybe there's a civil case against him.
Justified has never been stretched as much as it was in that sentence. Yes, it's justified under Texas law, but under no other.
Notice how he keeps looking to the right. This is a common thing with TYT. For those of you who know about TYT, it's run by a guy named Cenk Uygur. This guy is without question a tyrant. It is clear he's a tyrant. People leave his show constantly. Why? He is, do as I say, I'm the king, or I will crush you. This guy keeps looking back at him and be like, am I doing okay, boss? See, am I saying the right thing, boss? He's not looking at us. He's looking at his boss to ensure he's doing the right thing. I'm not joking. His boss is about to come on. And of course, everything you do with the show is you say your thing, then give credence to your boss. Say your thing, and then bow to the boss. That's how this show works.
Their law, system of ethics, common sense, or anything like that. This, by the way, has become very common. In the border town of Eagle.
Literally no evidence of that. He just said that. That was a lie. How do I know that's a lie? How do I know that's a lie? I'll tell you why. In 2020, there were 32 accidental deaths by gun in Texas. 32 in 2020. This law got passed last year in 2021. So how many accidental deaths were there in 2022 so far? 16. Now, there's still some more 2022 to go, but even if you took half that number and added, you still only have 24, which is less than 32. So accidental gun deaths in Texas since the law, which was last year, have gone down. He just said it's become common. He's made it up. I'm going to show you the receipts. I'm not going to just say that. I'm going to show you, so I can find it. Oh my God. I had some data here that I thought was kind of important. And there was some here that we were talking about that actually expressed the number of accidental deaths. Here we go. All right, I'm going to show you. This is actually accidental deaths just so you know, I'm not making this up. I'm going to show you receipts This is from Texas Gun Sense. And it shows right there, underneath there, 2019, 32 children died of unintentional shootings. 32. So that's what happened in 2019. Okay. So now what's going on now in 2020? I'll show you this right now. This is so far 2020 in Texas. Again, I'm going to show you receipts. I'm just going to talk trash. This receipt, this is Texas right here. And this is the every town gun safety here. And this is 16. So 16 this year, as of now, 32 in 2020. But he says accidental, this is more common. That is a lie. He was literally making that up. He showed you one thing that was terrible, and that story's terrible, and we should feel bad about that. And maybe there was a civil action against that guy because he did something silly. Okay, maybe. However, it is a lie to say that's a common thing. He made that up. That is a lie.
Drunken arguments have flared into shootings. In El Paso, revelers who legally bring their guns to parties have opened fire to stop fights. In and around Houston, prosecutors have received a growing stream of cases involving guns brandished or fired over.
Okay, let's say that's true. A growing stream of cases involving brandishing and fired. Where are the deaths and injuries? So, can you say that when someone brandishes a gun, maybe there was no violence? Maybe there was a guy with a knife and he didn't stab the guy. Maybe that brandishing of a gun stopped the crime. I don't know, but neither does he. What I do know is the data of accidental gun deaths of children since the law that allowed everyone to carry, that number has gone down. That I am sure of. I showed you the data. He said it's become more common. That's a lie. So he is using things to act like now that they've done it, everybody's getting killed. That is a lie. I can go one step further. The amount of gun deaths in Texas in 2020 was about 4,200. The deaths per 100 was about 14.2. But for 100,000 deaths, 14.2 was the number. In 2020, right now, that number is about 3,500. And there's more Texans. So the actual per 100,000 death rate is down from 14.2 in 2020 to 12.1 in 2022. So these gun laws, the loosening of gun laws that we as gun supporters said would make things safer, did actually happen. It literally happened in Texas. It literally did. Now he says it didn't. He is lying. He's just making it up. It's just not true. And again, I will show you receipts. I don't want you to think he's just saying stuff and then putting out specific cases. Like, look at this case. Aren't you shocked by this case? Well, yeah, you can be if you want to. Or you could look at actual data. So let me show you actual data. Again, receipts. This is from the CDC, Texas 2020. And if you look at Texas, if I can find Texas here, I'm going to find it somewhere. Texas, 14.2 is the death rate per 100,000. 14.2. That's what it was in 2020 per the CDC. So I didn't make that up. That was really there. Now, if I can find you, this is, hold on, this is Texas 2020. I will show you that one right now. And this is from, hold on, World Population Review. That's the people who, they talk about it here, if I can find this. And if you can see this here, just so you know, I'm not making this up. Texas, right here, Texas. If you can read that, 12.1. That's this year, 2022. So the amount of gun deaths went down. The number of accidental deaths from children went down. 1 year after those laws were passed. But he would sit there and go, it's terrible. Look at these two specific things I came up with that are terrible. And those things are terrible. They are. He's right. But you know what else is terrible? We had a SAFE Act that came in New York State in 2013. And what do we have after the SAFE Act? After 2 mass shootings. What do we have before the SAFE Act? 0 mass shootings. Yes. So our gun laws in New York State afterwards got us 2 mass shootings. Prior, none. Well, there we go. I don't know who's winning here. I kind of do know who's winning here.
Important, crucial things like parking spots, bad driving, loud music, and love triangles. And so This is exactly what we should have expected. When you have a gun with you, situations that normally would just resolve, or maybe worst case scenario, end with somebody being punched in the face, suddenly.
Yeah, that would be true, except it doesn't end that way. It ends with people being beaten to death, stabbed to death. The most common way that a male kills his female lover in America is by beating her to death. That's the most common way. But what if she had a gun? He probably wouldn't beat her to death because she would shoot him, or she would brandish her firearm. He would get scared and he would run away because he doesn't want to get shot. Yeah. So you're saying, well, getting beaten to death. That's how most women die by their lovers in this country, by things other than a gun. So I guess you hate women? I'm going to go with that. I'm going to use that against you. You must clearly hate women.
Become situations where your life can be on the line, the life of the person you're fighting with can be on the line. Anyone nearbys life can be on the line.
Hold on, I gotta pop this up. Reza comes on all the time. Sharpe for Hochul. Reza, I'm talking about ending gun control. Please, you are just embarrassing yourself. Every time you come on here, you're just embarrassing yourself. Get with the program, brother. Join me. Note, I still give you attention. Zeldin doesn't give you attention. He doesn't care about you at all. He goes to his big fundraisers, makes tons of money, ignores chumps like you. That's how he thinks you're a chump. I don't think you're a chump. He thinks you're a chump. He thinks all of us are chumps. I don't. I come visit people like you, and because I'm just like you. I am. I'm born and raised in New York City, born in the Bronx, born in Manhattan, raised in the South Bronx. I'm a regular chump just like you. Yeah. So you want to go Sharpe for Hochul? You think, first off, spell Hochul right. You're getting embarrassing yourself. It's an H in there, dude. Anyway, the point is, Hochul's not going to agree with me. This is all anti-Hochul stuff. So get up the program, brother. You're way off on the program. So yes. Anyway.
Fine. And the status quo in Texas, by the way, was already that at least 4,000 people were being killed by firearms every single year.
Yes, he's right. I showed you that data. 4,000 every single year. And how many this year? 3,500. He doesn't tell you what this year is. The status quo was over 4,000, about 41, 4,200 per year. That's correct. What's it this year? 3,500. It's less this year than the other years. He didn't tell you that. You lose 4,000.
And now it's way easier to get guns and carry guns around with you.
Yes, and now it's way easier to get guns and carry guns, and the death rate is lower. And the accidental death rate of children is lower. You have literally just done my homework for me. And he's like, yeah, see? Check and mate, you gun people. Yes, if you're not paying attention, yes. But do 5 seconds of homework. And then you
wherever you want.
So the shootout at the OK Corral was such a big event.
And now here comes, right now, he's gonna now see, he had his attack dog go, rah, 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 rah. Now he's gonna come and be like, let me tell you some history, because I'm the smart guy here. Watch him tell you some smart stuff. By the way, he's completely gonna make stuff up too. And I'm gonna debunk that too, but keep going.
In the Wild Wild West, because they had gotten guns into the middle of town and shot at each other. And I believe 2 people died. And we still know the shootout at the OK Corral.
I've heard of it.
Those guys were amateurs. It's nothing like the violence we have here in America today. The Wild Wild West wouldn't make the local news.
Wild Wild West would make the local news. Yet everyone could have guns. Here, as in New York City, nobody can legally have guns. Yet we have shootouts worse than that in New York City, and the strictest gun laws in the entire nation. You just keep making my case, but you make it with your, and see how dumb you are?
The violence was so small. The shootouts were, not the violence against Native Americans, African Americans, etc.
Yes, and Native Americans, they had to surrender their guns, didn't they? Yes, Native Americans had to surrender their guns, and there was so much violence against them. Slaves couldn't have guns. Yeah, the origins of gun control are the 1870s keeping guns away from former slaves. Yeah. And of course, we know about the ideas of Black Wall Street in Oklahoma. What they do first? The military went in, took the guns away from the black veterans from World War I, took the guns away. Then the mob went in. They took the guns away. Yeah. All the violence you are talking about happened after the populations were disarmed. But when there were armed populations, the white population, it wasn't that bad, was it? Wouldn't have made the news. I don't understand how people can believe this garbage. He's utterly wrong. Completely, utterly, factually incorrect.
The shadows were tiny compared to what we have today.
Yes.
And in fact, in most of the towns back then, when you got to town, you had to turn over your guns to the sheriff because they're like, okay, I mean, this is America and we're in the Wild West here. You need your guns to protect yourself.
Yeah.
But when you come into town, obviously you shouldn't have guns. That'll lead to terrible violence.
Yeah.
None of that's true. He made that up. There were some towns that did that, yes, but he said every town. Utterly incorrect. Made it up.
That was the wild, wild west, okay? So you could look it up in history. I know these days the right wing, like, no, history sucks, let's ban it.
No, you just make stuff up. That's not what happened.
From all the schools, we don't want to teach it. Science sucks, let's ban it. I don't know what you want to teach left, okay? But that's actual American history, but it's not just American history.
Tell me.
You know the saying, armed to the teeth?
I know that saying.
Yeah, I always wondered about that. Armed to the teeth, what do your teeth have to do with it? No, it turns out the teeth is a location in Scotland. Scotland also had lots of violence, and they also made a law that you are not allowed to be armed within cities. Because they're like, okay, you're on the road, you got to protect yourself, we get it. But inside a city, you'd have to be crazy to allow weapons because people are going to drink, people are going to get into fights, and then
they don't drink and get into fights outside of cities. So yeah, I guess
no, everybody's going to die, right?
That's
so you're allowed to be armed to the teeth, but not beyond the teeth. Okay. Nowadays, no such thing exists. We just all grab our guns and shoot each other and people that are standing by ad nauseum.
So to be clear, what he said had nothing to do with teeth. Again, history, factually incorrect. So for those you don't know, and he's utterly wrong in everything he said. Number one, there's not a town where they outlawed guns named Teeth. That's not how that works. Is there a place called Teeth in Scotland? There is. It's a river. I'm going to show you again. This show, I'm not doing what he does. He just says shit. He just makes stuff up. I don't do that. I'm going to show you. Hold on. This literally is a map of Scotland where the river Teith is. That's a river right there. River Teith. In case you can see that, that's River Teith. You see that? The River Teeth. Now, why in the world would that matter? Okay, first off, that's not where it comes from, but let me go where it comes from first. Where it actually comes from is heavily armored knights back in the day would be armored up to a link right here, a piece right here, right? And I'll show it to you in a second. There's a neck guard that comes up to your teeth. If they were jousting, they would have their helmets on, right? But once they got into the fray, they had to pull their helmets off. Why? Because they couldn't see around them. So knights, once they got into an actual battle, would pull their helmets off. And sometimes they fight with their hand on their helmet. And then you ever watch the movie Excalibur, the last battle scene uses the knights with their hand on their head, trying to stop from sword blows and fighting with their sword. That was the way because they had to see and look around. But when your helmet is off, you'll be defended. So there'll be these large chunks, and I'll show you right now if I could. Again, I'm not making this up. This is what it actually means, and I'll show you. See if I can find this here, so you don't think I'm just crazy. There we go. All right, this is a from the movie that I was talking about. Right there. So that big chunk right there. Oh, I just blew that. I'm sorry. What did I mess up? I screwed something up here. I'm sorry. Let me pop this back up real fast. I apologize. Where did that go? Hold on. What did I do? Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. But if you saw that picture, I hope it was obvious you saw it. Let me pop it up real fast. There's another one. Okay, good. There we go. There's another one. There's another piece from it. You can see right there. See up there? Those things that pop up come up to his teeth. So he is armed to his teeth. That's from a sword blow that might come when he pulls his helmet off and he fights in the fray. His helmet will be on while he was horseback. When he gets off the horse to fight with his sword, he pulls his helmet off so he can see, and he is armed to his teeth. That is where that comes from, not the river that the town that he magically made up. That's not a thing. I think if I can find one more on this specific picture, if you'll notice, it's only on one side. Why? Because most swordsmen were right-handed, so the blow comes from the right, so you would keep that on one side to block that blow. That's what that's for. He also, by the way, is armed to his teeth. That is what that is about, not what he talked about. What he talked about was a river. Now, this is great because the story that comes from the river, which is another story that some people will tell you, is exactly the opposite of what he said. The River Teith in Scotland was a place that people traveled and traded, where they were going to a trading post. Well, going to a trading post, you're bringing both gold and silver and goods. So what would you need to be? Armed. Yes, you would be armed to protect your gold, your silver, and your goods at a trading post. So you'd be armed going to Teith, the river, where you would trade. That's the story the people in Scotland will tell you. So even if it was his silly story, it wasn't you get unarmed, it's you get armed because you're going to Teith to trade, which is the river Teith. So in every way he could speak, he made it up. He said there's some town Teeth and they said you can't have weapons in cities. Oh, I don't know what he said. That's not true at all. He made all of that up. I don't mean to be mean, but I do this because literally hundreds of thousands of people watch these shows and think, yeah, he's right. Yeah. No, he made it up. I'm showing you with receipt. I'm giving you the data. You can look at it yourself. Everything they're saying is completely false. He made all of that up. Anyway, I wanted you guys to see this because again, so many people watch this.
And let alone the massacres ad nauseum. And all of our politicians go, what? I don't see it. What's the big deal? Tens of thousands.
The massacres at nauseum. Okay, that's what the massacres. Where are these massacres at nauseum happening? They're happening. Oh, in gun-free zones. Every one of them. Literally, every one of them. Yeah. All these massacres at nauseum, to use his words, are happening in gun-free zones. And all the massacres of hundreds and thousands and tens and millions of people dying all happened after the population was unarmed. Every single time. Weird how that happens every single time. Yet he thinks if only we had more gun laws.
Thousands of Americans being murdered every year because of these guns. And
they're all being murdered because of these guns.
We have way more guns than everyone else, and we have way more gun homicides than everyone else. This doesn't happen in.
Yeah, but there was a higher homicide rate in London than there was in New York City. 2 years ago, 2020, I think it was. I'm not joking. Higher homicide rate. It wasn't gun deaths. You're right. It was literally knife deaths to the point. And again, you can do your homework on this to the point where the people of London considered registering knives. I'm not kidding. It didn't happen, luckily. But they were that desperate, they were considering registering knives because they're so broken and so backward. All they know is, you know what we got to do? Got to write more laws. You can't go, wait a minute. Why do we have a culture to where people want to keep killing other people and killing each other and murdering people? Why don't we affect our environment and our culture and make better laws and better rules so that people are freer and have more purpose and have more community? Why don't we do that? Nah, we'll register guns and then we'll register knives and then we'll blame the guns and the knives. That's what we'll do. That's what this guy is.
Any other developed country? Who cares? Did the check clear? This is all because of money in politics. They get paid by the NRA. They get paid by gun manufacturers.
Okay, they don't. They don't. That's not a thing, right? The NRA stands for negotiating your rights away. That's what NRA stands for that. By the way, thank you, Craig Miles, for that one. I'm stealing it. I give you some credit. Usually I don't give people credit, but I'm giving you credit. Yes, it stands for negotiating your rights away. That's the NRA. They're not helping, please.
They literally profit off of our deaths.
No, NRA profits off of people selling enough to give them money. People believing they care about the Second Amendment. If you care about the Second Amendment and you want to support an organization, support Gun Owners of America. That is the appropriate organization if you want to. Or the Firearms Policy Coalition. Either of those two. FPC, GOA, these are the right organizations that you want to support if you care about Second Amendment. The NRA is a Republican PAC. That's all it is. It is negotiating your rights away. Do not waste your time, your money on the NRA. GOA or FPC is your answer. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and money.
You know, I believe in a higher power and I wear it on my hip. Hell yeah, brother. God bless America.
Look at that, what she does. And she thinks she's righteous in saying that. She literally insulted half of America right there. And she wonders, why do they not vote Democrat? I don't get it. Well, when you insult them like that, it goes to what Bill Maher said. Bill Maher said a year ago, he said, when people said, why aren't people voting Democrat? I don't understand. We're better for them, whatever they said. He said, this doesn't matter. You're like, what? It doesn't matter. Because they hate you. Yeah, because she clearly has disdain. And the funny part is, if you're on the left or you're left leaning and you watch this, you must go, yeah, man, I feel righteous right now. These dumb people on the right, these dumb conservatives, I'm sure you must feel good if you watch this. I assume, otherwise, why would they make so much money? Why would people watch them? I assume that. But try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. What if you're on the right watching this? All you think of is, wow, they freaking hate me. They can't stand who I am. Of course they hate you back. This is just divisive. This is just lies. This is not helpful at all. And the funny part is, the three people on this panel think they're helping. Or I'm sorry, they may not. Cenk knows he isn't. The other two probably do. But actually, they're sycophants. They probably don't know. The two lackeys, the two toadies next to him probably don't know. They probably think they're helping. They probably do believe they're helping. But they're just sycophantic toadies. That's all they are. Going, yes, did I do good, Cenk? Did I do good? I'll say some funny stuff and insult the people you don't like. And he's like, well done, children. So he's just doing that. But this isn't helping, is my point. And she thinks she's righteous.
Seriously, listen though. Like there are these people who have guns because they're obsessed with gun culture and it's very toxic and they're members of the right wing. And
see, gun culture is toxic, she says, and they're members of the right wing. Let me ask you a question if you might know, who is more likely to commit a crime? A licensed gun owner or someone who is not a licensed gun owner? I think you know the answer to that question. Licensed gun owners are by multitudes less likely to commit a crime. Yeah, I'm not sure how toxic that is. They're less likely to commit a crime. Which one's toxic again? I don't know. They don't use facts. They say that everyone else hates history and science and such, yet they haven't used one fact yet. I have shown you facts that they are wrong. You can research my facts if you want to. I tell you, please do so. You will find out that I'm correct.
And they believe having guns makes them cool. Like all they're doing with the guns is protecting.
No, you think you're cool because you think insulting people's cool. I don't think I'm cool if I own a firearm. No, I mean, I'm cool because I'm cool. It doesn't matter if I have a firearm or not. And I'm cooler than you also, whether I have a firearm or not, whether I insult people or not. Doesn't matter to me. But the point is, you have a firearm because you believe it's the right thing to do. Why are you wearing that jacket you're wearing? Because you think you're cool.
Their privilege in society. They're really scared of the idea that things could possibly change in our country. And these people are getting increasingly more aggressive. They're emboldened by the right-wing media that's pushing these narratives, which we've
see that? It's the right-wing media that pushes narratives. They don't push narratives, not them. They literally made up every part of that story. The last 5 to 10 minutes that I just talked about was all fabricated narrative. And I showed you that. None of it based on truth. I showed you data. They made it up. Now they're saying, well, these right-wingers just make stuff up. Not like us. Well, we make stuff up too. But the stuff we make up is funny. No, that
talked about a lot on the show today. But in response to that, there are people who are afraid of all of these people who are carrying their guns around, who clearly are very unstable, who are buying into these narratives that there are.
So I want to be clear. The people who are carrying the guns, she just said, who are clearly unstable. Please tell me, where is your data saying that? Where's your information saying that? Where is any evidence to saying that people who are carrying guns legally are unstable? Let me explain why she didn't have any. Because it doesn't exist. Because she just made that up. I'm going to make this up. And I'm going to say it to an audience that believes anything I say, so they'll just nod and go, yeah, oh my God, she's so right, they're all unstable. Of course they are. They'll just say that. No evidence of that. But you know who is unstable? People who aren't carrying legal guns. Many of them are. I see them in New York City. I see them walking around without any pants on. I'm not joking, and if you live in New York City, you know what I'm talking about. Those people aren't legal gun owners, and a lot of them are unstable. So I'm actually less worried about someone who would go through the motions of buying a gun legally. That person I'm okay with. The people who aren't doing it, those are the people I'm worried about. She is literally the opposite. It's like what she says, opposite is true.
Secret people in power controlling our country. They believe that the cancel culture war is taking away all.
They're controlling our country. So the gun owners are controlling our country now. I thought they were unstable. But and they're controlling. The people controlling our country are people who hate guns. Have you not seen the laws passed recently? They're people who hate guns. Republicans passed gun laws. Have you not watched this? The people who are in control are passing gun laws. Every president since, I don't know, Andrew Johnson has been a gun grabber. I don't know. Is it that far back? Everyone in my lifetime has been a gun grabber. Every one of them. Every governor that New York has had that I can remember in my lifetime has been a gun grabber, to include Pataki, the Republican governor. He helped ban assault weapons, right? But whatever assault weapon is. They're all gun grabbers. I know you Republicans get mad at me. You know, Republicans support the Second Amendment. You're full of shit. No, they don't. Stop. Only libertarians. So, and to be forward, to give the socialists credit where credit is due, I will. The hardcore socialists also support gun rights. So I'll give them, I'm talking the left of the left, you lose every other right you could possibly have, but guns you get if you're hardcore socialist. So those people, the most hardcore socialists and libertarians, that's all that support gun rights. Nobody else does. She made this up.
All of their freedoms because some people are gay and some people are transgender and traditional values are being degraded.
See, if you want a gun, you want to kill gay people and transgender people. Yeah, just pull that out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Oh, you want a gun? What are the reasons you want it? Except to shoot gay people.
And their countries being stolen by people coming over the southern border. All of these things have led to them to be incredibly unstable and on the brink of violence. And they want to.
See, that's the issue. If you think that we need to have a country, you are clearly unstable. You can't have a difference of opinion. And this is one of the hardest things I deal with, right? With the left-right paradigm in general. Right now, it's worse on the left, but it has been bad on the right too in the past. And those of you who've been around the country long enough will remember a time when the right was like this. Back in the 70s, the right was as bad as this. But those days, whatever Democratic Party, what the Democratic Party used to be in the 60s and 70s, it is not that today at all. I don't know what it is now. But there was a time when Republicans were this bad. Not anymore. Now the left is far worse than the right. The right can be bad too, though. I'm not patting the right in the back. They screw up too. But relatively, the left is far worse. In just, if you don't believe what I believe, you are just an idiot. You're just stupid. You're useless. I have to dismiss you. I have to erase you. You're not human. This is a very common thing. It's so hard because you've probably seen me try to go on left-leaning shows, and I do whenever I possibly can. And I've done it often. And when I do it, I try not to be so mean. I try to be, and some of you get mad at me like, Larry, why didn't you beat these people up? Because I want to be able to get back on, because I desperately want to turn these people. And you might go, Larry, why? Why in the world would you want to? Just try to go to the right. The right's easy to pull people over. And you're correct. The right is easy to bring people over to us, but they also go back. And I saw it this year as all the people got, Zeldin's going to win. Zeldin's not going to win. But anyway, it's fine. Some people just ran back to the right. Some stayed with me, and thank you for those who did, but some ran right back to the right. And the right wouldn't have me on the shows because, oh my God, Larry's going to affect the red wave. We know Larry's awesome, but so what? He might affect our Republicans from winning. I'm like, but your Republicans suck, but they don't care. So I saw a lot of right go back. When the left comes to us in the Liberty Movement, they stay, right? And the best example I can give you, and I use it all the time, and I'll keep using it because it's what keeps me going. This is what keeps me going to the left. Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell was a Marxist. He was a Marxist. Some of you who listen to me know I tell the story all the time, and I'm going to keep telling it because it's why I keep doing it. If I get one Thomas Sowell out of these people, done. I accept. Yes, I will do it. Because when the left comes to us, they stay because they get it and they see who we really are and they stay. The right comes to us easy, but they also go back easier. The right people stay from the right, but if I get 10 people from the right, 5 will go back. I get 10 from the left, 1 will go back. It's hard to get them from the left, but when I get them, they stay. They really become converted, if that makes any sense. So yes, I keep trying. But man, it's hard because they're just so damn dismissive. Just dismissive. It's so
carry
hard.
guns around because they want to protect their idea of America, and that means other people in their community are expendable. We've seen so many times.
Exactly the reverse of what she just said. People in their community, people who care about their community, carry guns to protect their community. Literally, what she said, the opposite is true.
People so quick to take out a weapon because someone pisses them off just a little bit. Like,
that's literally gang violence, and that's illegal guns, and that's in New York City, the toughest gun laws. What she said, the data that proves what she said is not Texas. I showed you data in Texas. The reverse is true. Literally less gun deaths and literally less deaths, accidental deaths of minors in Texas since the law went into effect. New York City, on the other hand, toughest gun laws. By the way, crime in New York City, up all over 15%. Now you might say to yourself, Larry, that's impossible. Kathy Hochul this year passed 10 gun laws. That's true. So clearly crime has gone down. It has not. It hasn't. Crime's still going up, even though Kathy Hochul passed 10, I'm not joking, literally 10 new gun laws this year. 10 new ones this year. We already had the most strict guns. In fact, one of her laws made illegal guns illegaler. I'm not joking. This is what actually happened. And I covered this. Illegal guns became illegaler. That'll teach you. Jumaane Williams, who is he's what's called the public advocate here in New York City, which is like a vice mayor equivalent, but it's called public advocate. He's left, openly left. And whatever you may think of Jumaane Williams' policies, Jumaane Williams is a good man who cares about his community and does the work. That man is in the community. I disagree with him on many things, but I respect his hustle. I respect that he wants to do things better for his community and that he is in the community. That man goes in, shakes hands, hangs out with the community. He does that, unlike some people who run for office. He's in the community all the time. He cares. He's there. And he said the 10 laws she passed was nothing but gun violence because he knows it's gang violence, which is what she just said these crazy right-wingers are doing. I don't look at gangbangers in New York City as crazy right-wingers.
People don't have good reasons to be pulling out guns. And now you have people wanting to get guns in response to that to protect themselves. And we're almost at a point where the proliferation of arms in America is so out of control. And it's very scary because when you have people showing up to Speaker Pelosi's house ready to attack her.
With a gun, right? Oh, wait, no, he didn't have a gun. He had a hammer. Right, okay, I guess.
We're on the brink of something that looks like a civil war. Like we've got to do something to address the proliferation of arms in the country.
See, that's the issue, right? We're on the brink of a civil war. So let's not try to make people happy so they don't want to fight. Let's lock down more. The reason why people are upset is because of government control. So what do we need? More government control. That'll work. This is how insane this is. And I got to go one step further here. They're going to tell you how much they care about these people, and it's, this is all gun control is about this. Gun control is racist. Be very clear. And I know some of you don't like that word. I don't care. It's true. And if you're on the left, you're like, wait a minute, gun control is not racist. It's the racists who want all the guns. That's what she said. No, well, yes, but that's not the issue. The reality of it is everybody wants guns, racists included, right? Everybody wants guns. But the idea that gun control, people believe that gun control is moral. I will tell you, gun control is unconstitutional. Agreed. I think most people who support me would agree with that. It's also immoral. But lastly, it is racist. How do I know that? Larry, you're just saying that. No. I'm not just saying that. This is from 2016 after 2013, the SAFE Act was passed in New York State. SAFE Act charges are rising. And where are they rising? All over the place. Guess where they're rising? They're rising in the cities. Yes, the vast majority of SAFE Act cases were in New York City. So let me see. What militia member lives in New York City? None. The SAFE Act violations are all being used against black and brown kids. How do I know that? Larry, you're just making that up because you're mad. No, I'm not. Right here, 2020. Black New Yorkers make up only 18% of New York State's population, but 78% of the state's felony gun possession charges. Yes, absolutely. Going a little bit lower. 90% of people arrested in New York City on charges of possessing a loaded firearm are Black and or Latino. This is this year and 2 years ago. Gun control is racist. Let me repeat that for the people in the back who don't want to hear that. Gun control is racist. It's not going against the people that she says, oh, there's the people, ma'am, howdy, partner, whatever, as she insults people all day long, half of America. Yeah, but I thought you Democrats, you care. All your gun laws in New York State are 90% attacking Black and brown people. Yeah, that's what's actually happening. Why would they do that? And I'll tell you why. Because prosecutors say, I love the SAFE Act. Why? I can now throw 14 charges on some kid who can't defend himself, and he'll have to plea, and I'll get an easy conviction. And all I care about as a prosecutor is my conviction rate. Nothing else. SAFE Act makes conviction rate shoot up. We love SAFE Act. Yes, that's how that actually works. Gun control is racist. It's unethical, unconstitutional, immoral, and racist. And I just gave you receipts. If you think I'm wrong, check it out. That's AP. That's not me making stuff up. And another one that was, hold on. That was, hold on, from the right place. That was New York 1. New York 1. It's not me just, it's something you're making. No, this is mainstream media telling you that gun control is racist. Because it is. Because it is. And I know I get a little bit uppity and I get angry and stuff like that. I know I do. It's because the story being told is so wrong and so unethical and being heard by so many people that people believe it. They think I'm the crazy one and they're the right one when they are absolutely and totally wrong. And the stuff you just saw is completely made up.
Reverse this because people are not stable enough to be responsible with weapons.
I want you to hear the last part. People are not responsible enough or stable enough to be responsible with weapons. Her words. And look at the guy on the right. Yeah, these stupid people, they're not stable enough to be responsible with weapons. And here comes the master now. See, yeah, let's not, yeah. Why would you watch this when someone's there saying, you're not stable? You can't have a gun. You're an idiot. But I can give a gun to cops all day long. FBI agents, IRS agents, totally fine. I can give guns to 87,000 IRS agents, all good. But you're not stable enough to do that. And she says it with a smugness that makes me want to vomit. And somehow these people get more views than me. What am I doing wrong?
Say one last thing about that. So look, guys, there's different situations where I understand why you want to get a weapon. I know hunters. Yes, of course, hunters need rifles. Get it.
See that, you hunters? I will look. See, Cenk is going to be good to you. See, he's going to let you have a gun if you want to hunt. Aw, Cenk does care about us after all. Thanks, Dad.
Right? You live in a remote area in Montana, and you're worried, hey, man, if somebody comes in, it'll take cops 25 minutes to get here. I get it, right?
That's not Montana. That's most of New York State. He doesn't know that, though. But that's actually what he just said. That's most of New York State. And now that's most cities. I'm not joking, right? If you live in the world, see, he doesn't worry about it because he has private security. Again, this goes back to the same thing. The elite left, who all have private security, they don't care about you and your stupid cops. They have private security. Someone comes to them, they're getting shot. They know that. They live in walled communities. They don't care about you, right? So they're like, yeah, if you live, someplace in Montana. No, if you live now in any major city, it's at least 45 minutes before a cop shows up. I've had to call the cops in my house because of other issues. It's over an hour when I get here. So yeah, and I live in New York City, right? So it's not like I live in the biggest city in the country, and it takes an hour for the cops to get to me. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Now you got out of control crime. So you're worried about that, and you're worried everybody else has guns. That really sucks. And the gun manufacturers are thrilled. That's why they prevent any laws like federal background checks, because they want.
If gun manufacturers had it their way, there'd be no SAFE Act. They're not winning. They're not winning, right? We've run gun manufacturers out of my state. They're not winning, my friend. You just made this up. He says, and there's a lot of crime and you're worried. and then but go to hell. There's a lot of crime you're worried, so buy a gun.
The criminals to have guns so that you're scared and you buy a gun, right? But I still understand it, right? But when the right wing says,
why are people believing this guy? He says, so the criminals have guns. Yes, even though we have gun control. So you want to get a gun and we want to stop you from getting a gun. Why? The criminals have guns.
Well, you need your Second Amendment rights to guard against government tyranny. No, decode that. What does that mean?
Okay, two things. One, that's not what you just said. You just immediately changed subject, which is garbage, and then go decode that. There's no decode. It's straight. There's no decode. You want guns to defend against government tyranny. There's no decoding. Many times people do this. They think there's some type of dog whistle. It's not a dog whistle. It's straight up. Yes.
That means you got to have a gun in case Tucker Carlson tells you the government is tyrannical.
Okay, no. See, that's where you go wrong. You have to go to Tucker Carlson because you want to make him the bad guy, right? Are there people who believe Tucker Carlson? Yes, but a lot of libertarians don't care what Tucker Carlson says. And when cops come into your room to take all your weapons and such, you don't care what Tucker Carlson says. You don't either. You have private bodyguards with guns. Do you care what Tucker Carlson says? You don't either.
And then you shoot the people in the government.
Yep.
That's what it means. Now, look, imagine.
Kinda yes. But just scratch Tucker Carlson part, but kinda yes.
Imagine if the left wing did that. And he said, you know what's government tyranny? The government coming telling you what you can do with your body if you're a woman. Oh, no, you were raped? I don't care. You're gonna have the rapist child, okay? I can't imagine anything more tyrannical than that. Imagine if the left wing was like, oh, they got rid of Roe. Let's all get arms and make sure that if anybody tries to do government tyranny, use your Second Amendment rights.
I accept. Yes, I accept. See, I knew we could find some common ground, Cenk. I accept. Yes. We're good. See that? This entire thing, and we came together on that. The left wing, and this is my point about the hardcore socialists. They're actually like, yeah, we're in. So see that? Yeah, you went far enough left, you get your guns back. So they would say, if you go far enough left, you get your guns back. There we go.
You know what would happen? The right wing's head would explode.
No, they'd be like, done.
They'd be like, how dare you? We control your body. And if we send our agents, you will do as you're told.
Yeah, with like a shot first. Oh no, that doesn't
do not dare cross government tyranny.
Yeah,
but we get to shoot people, government officials. So maybe the postman comes by and says, I thought it was the FBI and their deep state.
When has anyone ever shot the postmaster? Because this just totally made that up. Okay, I'm done. You pushed me too far. Done. Okay, I hope you guys at least enjoyed that. I think it was kind of fun you to see. And you might ask yourself, if you're someone who supports Second Amendment, you might say to yourself, how can people be so, against Second Amendment? Because they watch that. That's the reason. And they watch that almost every day. And they watch that all the time. So that's the reason. I hope that answers your question at least. If you like what I'm doing, I still got some more. I'm going to do some of your comments now. If I could also, please like, comment, share, guys. I keep telling you that. Please do it. It does matter. Keep clicking those likes. Keep sharing. Keep putting down the comments. It does matter. Got to get those algorithms going so I can be as popular as the Young Turks one day. I'm hoping I can be that and show them how wrong they are. And of course, please support the actual show by going to the World's Smallest Political Quiz. You can click that link. It's in the description. Take that link and share that link also. Maybe share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, wherever you think is appropriate. Put it into people's things. They can say, hey, what do you think? Are you more progressive, more conservative? All those types of things. The advantage of the advocates doing this is it makes people think about where they actually stand without having to hear Tucker Carlson or Cenk Uygur or whomever to speak. They can look at it, go down the road themselves. And what you're finding out, we're finding out here, believe it or not, it's going to sound horrible for some of you, but there's more people moving towards, believe it or not, authoritarianism. That was not a thing years ago, but that's beginning to happen. I'd like to stop that because that whole Civil War thing is bad. Let's not do that if we don't have to. If you're going to support me directly, please do so. Right now is the right time. We got about a week or so left. We're rocking and rolling. I'm going to try to have a debate if I can coming up here tomorrow. If I can do it, I'm going to try my best see if I can put it together. It's been very difficult. People don't love me anymore, but I'm trying to get them to love me if I can. LarrySharpe.com/donate makes that possible so I can build out these things, make this stuff happen. Please donate. We got a week left to push. You got 130,000 votes. If you care, now's the time. Whatever you can, donate right now if you can. Let me grab some comments if I can. All right, let's see here. Thomas says, I voted early Sunday morning for you, Larry. Thank you. Everyone vote for Larry. Vote early and vote often. Of course, kidding. But yes, I do appreciate that. Absolutely. So if I can keep doing that. Joel says, I called Albany County BOE today. I asked about write-ins, did not get a different answer. Asked if it's just the name and office. Try to write it clearly is all she said. There we go. Write it clearly. They don't care, right? This is the thing to remember. Once I get the 130, I'm still going to court because they're going to say it's wrong for some reason. That's kind of how they do it. So we'll figure this out. Pete says, oh, yeah, thank you. 31 trillion, 257 billion, 754 million, $739,246.94 national debt. Let us never forget. Yes, thank you. Let us never forget. Paula says, Larry, you and Spike of the Future Libertarian Party. Oh, thank you, Paula. You both have the personality, integrity, and policy wonkiness to lead the party into the future. Your commitment is inspiring. Thank you. I am trying. You know, they always say, you know, be the change you want to be in the world. You want to see in the world. I'm trying to do that. I hope I can be the example. I'm trying to be a good example for people to follow. I am. So Righteously Rob says, TYT, the Young Turks. That's actually cute. I like that. That's actually good. Yes. All right. Let's see here. Shelly says, if this shooting were common in Texas, my sister would walk away back to New York. Yeah, it's not, right? And I showed you the data, right? I showed you the data right there. Joel says, constitutional carry does not give anyone the right to murder anyone. Thank you, Joel. They think if you carry a gun, you'll shoot somebody. Thank you. You're totally correct. Absolutely. Paula says, the Young Turks are the poor man's MSNBC. Nice. I love that. Very nice. That's very good. That's very good. So, all right. Pete says, parents, don't forget to take away half your kids' candy tonight to teach them about taxation. Works very well. I do like that. Works very well. All righty. All right. Let's see here. Joseph says, do you know that right now the gun permits are being held back for 2 years? I know someone who's trying to get one and they said it's 2 years. Correct. That's depends upon what county you go in, Joseph. New York State is very varied, which is why people got mad at me when they said, Larry, you got to push constitutional carry in New York State. And I said, the state is just not ready, right? It's just not ready for it. I know that people who support a Second Amendment are like, Larry, you have to fight. The state's not ready yet for that. So what I want to do is just do a couple of simple things. On my website, the first steps. We have to move towards that. And I want to we're going in the opposite direction. As I said, 10 new gun laws in New York State this year. 10 new this year in a state that was already had the worst. So we're going in the wrong direction. I just want to turn us around first, right? And the turnaround piece is, to your point, Joseph, I want to turn New York State into not a may issue, but a shall issue in 90 days or less. So some places in New York State, you can get a permit in less than 90 days. Most you can't. Some of them go up to 2 years, 18 months. That's a common thing across the state. And some of you are like shocked. No, that is New York State. What they will do is they will say, well, we don't have enough time or enough money or whatever, and they'll make any excuse known to man. And if they tell you no, they don't have to tell you why. They can just go, nah, that's completely legal in New York State right now. I'm going to change that. Shall issue in 90 days or less. If they don't issue you a permit or tell you no in 90 days, you get your permit. That is how New York State should work. You just get it. If they don't, either tell you no or give it to you anyway. If they do tell you no, and they can, counties can have rules that tell you no if they want to. Okay. However, here's the rule on that. If they tell you no, they must give you a reason and an appeals process. Neither of those is required in New York State right now. They can just go, no, you never get it. Done. That's how New York State works right now. I'm just saying, if you're going to tell me no, you got to tell me why. You got to give me an appeals process, or no, or I get it. So if we just did that, oh my God, that would make New York State better. Let's go there first. We're not even there yet. And let's make universal transportation laws. Right now, if you take your legally owned firearm into New York City, you are going to jail. You're going to Rikers Island, the most violent the most violent jail in all of America. Let's just make it to where, no matter what county you're in, minimum standards. You can raise them if you want to make it easier. No worries. But no matter what, if your firearm is locked and unloaded, you're good. Just that. You make a lot of it sounds crazy. That's not how it works in New York State. Not just that, the legal definition of loaded in New York State, and I'm not making this up, is ammunition in the vicinity of the firearm. I'm not joking. So if you have your firearm in a box locked up, next to it in a bag, a box of ammunition in New York State, that is a loaded weapon. Yes, it is. Let's change that. So I'm just trying to get you to understand, for those people not in New York State, how anti-gun my state is, which is why I'm saying I'm in the battleground state. If you change New York, you change the nation. All the bad gun laws that are going to the Supreme Court, all New York laws. No judges in New York State stop at these gun laws. New York State judges are terrible. New York State judges don't believe that their job is to interpret the law. They don't. They believe their job is to follow the law. That's not the job of a judge. That's the job of the executive branch. The legislative branch makes the laws. The executive branch follows the laws and executes the laws. And the judicial branch interprets the laws. That's like civics 101. And our judges have forgotten that. They think they're an arm of the governor. They believe that. So yes, I'm sorry, I went too far, but you get me going sometimes. Anyway, all right. Dave says, so the SAFE Act creates mass shootings. You're right. See that, Dave? There we go. The SAFE Act's causing mass shootings. That's the reason. Gun control creates mass shootings. There we go. I love that. There we go. Jimmy says ban hammers. No, Jimmy, all I want is common sense hammer control, okay? God, common sense hammer control. It's all I'm looking for. Look, just before you buy a hammer, I'm going to see 3 years of your Facebook, right? You got to have some people tell me if you're a good guy or not, whether you can get that hammer. It's common sense, okay? Common sense hammer control. And does anybody really need 3 hammers? Right? And ball peen hammers, got to regulate those. I mean, come on. Who needs 2 ball peen hammers? Come on, no one needs that. So, you get a license for your ball peen hammer. Mallets, come on now. We need mallet control. I mean, that's an assault hammer. That's what a mallet is, Jimmy, okay? It's an assault hammer. And we need to ban assault hammers. Nobody needs an assault hammer. Sorry, just, Jimmy and his hammers. Anyway, so yes. All right, let's see if I can do this again. Brian says, he fails to mention whether those uses he is complaining about were offensive or defensive. Brian, thank you. That was my point. Thank you for bringing this up. Yes, right? We don't know if the brandishing of the firearm is to stop something. By the way, glad you brought this up. Going back to Joseph's point, in New York State, if you brandish a firearm in an attempt to stop a crime, that's a crime. Yes. So now I'm outside and Jimmy's getting ready to get stabbed and I see him. So I pull a gun on the guy and go, don't stab Jimmy. Now, if he stabs Jimmy, me and the guy are going to jail. If he doesn't stab Jimmy, only I'm going to jail. So that's current law in New York State. So we should change that too and just say, if you draw your firearm in an attempt to stop a crime, that's not a crime. Now, again, if you fire, whatever you do, to the great and very savvy Maj Touré says the same thing always. If you want to pull that trigger, make sure you want to destroy what's on the other end. Make sure you're aware of that and you want to destroy it. Because whatever comes out of that gun, you are responsible for whatever happens. And that's true. And I'm not against that. You are responsible for your actions. So you draw a firearm to stop a crime, no worries. You can start shooting people all over the place. You're responsible for that. Don't do that. But if you brandish your firearm in an attempt to stop a crime, it should not be a crime in New York State. It is. So, yes. Anyway, thank you for that, Brian. I appreciate that completely. So, Jimmy goes to Young Twits. Very good. Very good. Joel says, okay, Corral, 30 seconds long. Also true. Yes. Good. Roger Rob says, Hochul equals Cuomo 2.0, but much worse. And Zeldin equals beta male establishment Republican. You know what's funny about the recent Zeldin thing? Zeldin had, excuse me, I still have a little bit of illness from this weekend. A call from it. I'm not sure if it might be allergies. Anyway, Zeldin had DeSantis up. And of course, packed the place and goes, the Zeldin, DeSantis, massive rally for Zeldin. I'm saying to myself, that's like you open, for, I don't know, you open for Beyonce and you go, everyone's here for me. No, dude, they're here for Beyonce. You're the opening act, which is nice and good for you to open for Beyonce. That's amazing. Good for you. I hope you can open for Beyonce. That is an awesome thing. But they're not here for you. They're here for Beyonce. You just are very lucky and good for you. So they came for DeSantis. Sorry, Zeldin, not for you. Don't get me wrong. I wish I had the people that show up for these people. I wish I could have that. I don't get that. I wish I could. The largest I've ever gotten from me going to a political event is probably 300 people. And that wasn't even this year. That was 2018. 2018, I had some big rallies, 300, 400 people. I had some big rallies. This year, I had hardly any big rallies. The largest I had here maybe was 100 people, maybe max. So I haven't really had that many large rallies here at all. But if I brought somebody, like I brought Ron Paul up to support me or something, and there were thousands of people, I wouldn't say, thousands here for Larry Sharpe. No, they showed up for Ron Paul, but I'm happy to be here and to open for Ron Paul. That would be wonderful. I would happily, and I've opened for Ron Paul before, and I would do it again. Absolutely. Just saying, I wouldn't pretend that Ron Paul's crowd is mine. So I'd be honest about it at least. So in any case, I hope that was good. Thank you for bringing that up. So Thomas said, so happy to catch Larry live. I appreciate that. Yes. Gene said he didn't find that in history. He saw that on a fictional TV show. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, they literally made this up, right? They made this stuff up. It's embarrassing how they just say it, but most people will just agree. They just go, yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. He says, homie been watching too many Netflix Westerns. Yeah, that's right. 100%. Yes. All right, Joseph says, do the libertarians have a problem like the Republicans do, where some Republicans aren't really Republicans at all? Do all libertarians believe the same things? Ours is worse. We have a thing, Joseph, and I don't know if you've been around the libertarians very much, where nobody's a real libertarian. You're not a real libertarian. We're worse in that regard. But here's the big difference. While there are some people who aren't as strong, like there's minarchists, there's anarchists, ANCAPs, all different levels of libertarianism. And many people don't like the other one, right? If you're more minarchist, you go, all these anarchists, they're crazy. If you're anarchist, you go, all these minarchists, they're all milquetoast. And we, of course, have that in our party. Of course we do. The difference is as we fight each other on what's happening, we end with, well, you're not a real libertarian. That's how the argument ends. When the Republicans, Democrats, argue, it ends with there ought to be a law. That's the one thing that we don't do. We're not like, well, we should outlaw people like you. No, we don't. And there's also many of us, like myself, in my heart, would I love a totally voluntary society? Of course I would. Of course, I've said in my heart, I am many times, I'm a voluntarist. I really wish that we could have a totally voluntary society. I just recognize that the state that I live in, where I am, by default, I'm a minarchist. By default. Because what I would like to see, I cannot see right now in my state. It is impossible. I could might as well say, hey, Joseph, me and you want to build a rocket to the moon. Same thing. We're not building a rocket to the moon. Right? And I'm not getting my voluntarist society in New York State. Not now, at least. I mean, hopefully one day, maybe, I hope so. But I, by default, become a minarchist. So yes, we fight like that. Of course we do. Yes, all the time. But I hope, sadly not always true, that we will still support each other against the left and the right, which are not about freedom. They're about their left boot or the right boot. So I hope we would. I hope that answers your question at least. So yes, we do have that problem, absolutely. So, all righty. Let's see if I can do that here. And Karen says, yes, there are some. Yeah, agreed. Yes. All right. Shelly says, not bragging, but I can disable a person with a rolling pin uses a nightstick. Shelly, look at you. I don't need a gun, but having one makes shooting skeet a whole lot more fun. Also true. Yes. 100%. Tim says, fascists to the left, communists to the right. Here we are stuck in the middle with you, Larry Sharpe. Thank you. I appreciate that. Kirk says, libertarians believe everyone has a right to their own beliefs and that by that right are unified. Understanding and respect finds balance and centers libertarians. That's often true. And let me bring up one that I think is kind of a story I've told before, but some of you may enjoy it. Years ago, I was a teacher, and the teachers were all together in a room talking before class. And one of the teachers there was a total pacifist, all about never would use violence, never, no matter what. And she's going on about it one day, talking about how she feels and what she feels is righteous. She wasn't being too preachy. We were asking her. So she was saying her feelings. She was not being very preachy, except we were asking her. So it's fine. If someone asks you to be preachy and you're preachy, fine. They're asking for it. And we were. And she was like, no. And then, of course, some guy says, well, what if you were going to be raped? She was like, I never want to kill anybody. She goes, if I was in that situation, I'm going to talk my way out of it. She goes, I have been in that situation. And, I talked my way out of it. And that's what it is. And he's like, but what if you were being raped? She goes, then I would rather, this is what she said. I'd rather be raped. I don't want to have to carry the burden of murdering anybody in my life, whatever. So I stepped up and I said, okay, I get that. I have a question for you. Would you stop someone who wanted to shoot their rapist? Right? So if a woman was being raped and would you say, don't do it? Or would you just let her shoot her? She goes, no, I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't stop somebody. And I said, then we're good. You should live your values. Just let other people live their values. If you feel no violence, no matter what, and you're prepared to take the consequences of that, as long as you let me shoot the person trying to rape somebody and you don't stop me, we're good. We are good. You should live your values. He should live his values. She should live her values. And I should live my values. If we're all there, we're good. That woman can join the Libertarian Party because even though she is personally anti-violence and anti-gun, no worries, she would not stop you. Now, she could tell you, say, Kirk, I think you should never have a gun ever. She can if she wants to because she has a freedom of speech. And she can try to peacefully convince everyone to disarm. And hopefully she'd be magically corrected. We would all disarm and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. That would be amazing. And maybe she'll do that. And she has every right to try, but no right to force. And that's what makes libertarians different. I don't want to force people to have guns. I want you to not stop anyone who wants one. And if somebody wants and says, no, guns are bad, and I hate them, and they'll never have in my house, okay, you do you. I'm not mad at you for it. Just let somebody who wants to have one have one. That's really the issue. And that's something that makes libertarians special in my regard. I mean, there's many reasons why they're special, but that's one of them. So yes. So anyway, okay. Excuse me. Logic Rex says, okay, cool to own a gun, including an anti-gun dippy with no argument. Joel says the NRA does not donate as much as the left wants you to think. Correct. The NRA likes gun grabbers in office because they get more membership. Correct. Yes. In fact, if you ask gun owners, there was a joke going around. I know because I visit gun shops. They were like, Obama was the greatest gun salesman in the world. They loved him. Obama was awesome. They're like, man, employee of the year. Because when Obama was, talking about guns, people were buying them left and right. So yeah, gun shops like put a Democrat in office. They're not voting Trump. No. We don't want Trump. No. Put the Democrat in office. 100%. I think you're right. For business purposes, obviously. So yes, 100%. That's very good. So, all right. Let me see if I can go down this piece. If I could, a couple more of these. David says, Reagan passed the Mulford Act. There we go. Ira says gun laws unconstitutional. Yes, but the issue why I bring up racist, Ira, is a very specific reason. When you tell people who tend to lean left that gun laws are unconstitutional, they will tell you the Constitution's wrong. That's what they will say. They will say Second Amendment is outdated. Second Amendment doesn't matter. We didn't have machine guns then. They will give you every excuse. While I agree with you, that argument doesn't work with many people on the left. So I use the one that does work, which is racist. That works. And gun laws are also racist. Again, saying gun laws are racist doesn't mean that gun laws aren't unconstitutional. They are that. Doesn't mean that they're also immoral. They are that too. They're all three. You just want to use the right argument with the right person, if that makes any sense. So I agree with you, but if that argument's not going to work, I'll pick a different one. And again, I showed the stats. So yes. Paula says, does Zeldin know what a gun is? This is the part that bothers me more than anything else. People will say Zeldin supports Second Amendment. He's never shown up for a vote. Not in Albany when he was in the assembly, nor in DC as a congressman. He didn't show up to vote. Doesn't care about it. Yes. Shelley says guns have gaydar now. Yes, if you own a gun, I guess you want to shoot black people, I guess. Or gay people. Sorry, gay people it was. I'm sorry. Right. The gay people. Correct. Yes. Andrew says Pink Pistol and John Brown Club based. Yes. The Pink Pistols. Yes. Davis, the same thing. Supposed members of the LGBTQ community to own guns. Yes. Look, if you are a member of the GSM community, which is the gender and sexual minorities community, and you feel like you're being harassed or your life is in danger, why wouldn't you own a gun? Of course. One of the reasons why people pick on people of that community is they think they are weak. Well, show them you're not. And if you physically are weak, a gun's a good equalizer, a real good equalizer. So I like that, 100%. So Joel says, Maj Toure posts some great gun rights content. He does. I'm a big fan of Maj. I'm a big fan. He talks about gun rights being racist all the time, 100%. Dave, yes, thank you. You've heard this story before. Thomas Sowell was termed left by the Department of Labor. Yes. He was a Marxist, guys. And he's one of our best libertarian philosophers, right? Up there, top 5, top 10 for sure. No matter, I mean, some people like others, but I mean, he's definitely in top 10. Gotta be top 10 for sure. Probably top 5, right? So absolutely, 100%. David says, I'm guilty of that. I was a leftist, but I found the light of the British philosophy of libertarianism. Yes, right? And people always go, Larry, why are you talking left so much? Because when they come, they stay. And I want this movement to grow. But something more important, if you came from the right, you probably know how to speak to the right better because you came from there. So you kind of know how people on the right think. You came from the right. If you come from the left, you probably know how to speak better to people on the left. You came from that, right? So you understand it better. So I need people from both sides to come to the movement. So then you, knowing that side that you came from, can speak better to them. Right? You know what, if you come from the left, you know what the left cares about. You know the language they use. You understand things like that. Things that some people just can't get. And some of us who spend so much time in the libertarian world, we speak our own language too. And then we say the wrong thing that shuts them off or that kind of thing. So yes, thank you for that, David. I really appreciate it. Yes, 100%. So, all right. Tim says, I love it, say it over and over. Gun control is racism and enforced with economic bigotry. Ooh. Economic bigotry. Very good. 100%. Paul says, gun laws are used to imprison black and brown men, period. It does not protect women or kids or families. Gun laws are used against black men. Yes. Thank you. And to Shelley's point, black guns matter. Yes, they do. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. All righty. Paul goes on to say, war on drugs, bogus gun charges. Yes. Lockdown poor people in prison or in their homes. Yes, yes, and yes. Everything she's saying is absolutely correct. Yes. So that's the thing for us to remember. It really is that way. So Kirk says it would take at least 20 minutes for police to reach my home, and I'm only 7 minutes from town. Thank you. Thank you. This is everywhere. This is everywhere. Red Vape says, why does anyone listen to Cenk Uygur? He's clearly delusional, saying he could beat the crap out of Joe. I remember that. He said he could beat Joe Rogan. He can't beat Joe Rogan. No. No. That is another thing he just made up. I am 100% sure Cenk Uygur is not going to beat up Joe Rogan. 100% sure. I will take any bet on that. Name the bet. Yes. My house. Yes. Not going to happen. Yes. Cenk could barely beat up Joe Biden. That's very good. Yeah. Yeah. True. I love. That's very good. That's good. Cenk couldn't beat me up and I haven't fought 15 years. Yeah, there we go. Yes, 100% that's very good. Yes. And Shelley says, we the people are capable of doing our own thinking. They don't believe that. Shelley, they don't believe that. And that's the problem. They don't believe that. They feel like we aren't able to defend ourselves or we're not valuable. We don't value our own selves. They think we need them. And we don't. That's the fact. We don't need them. And to be forward. And if you see my policies don't destroy government. My policies create an option to government, right? And if I'm right, and I know that I am, I believe that I am for sure, people will begin to pick the other options and they'll stop picking government. But some people will be afraid and they'll stick with government for a long time. Not everyone's an early adopter, right? I get it. And throughout our lives, we change. And certain things we know, like if you know something very well, for anything from say you know tractors very well because you're a farmer. If a new tractor comes out, you know it, you pay attention to it, you know the field very well. You'll know if you want to be an early adopter to whatever the new tractor technology is because you're in it. You like it, you know it, you believe it. Aha, that is good. You'll become an early adopter. But let's say tractors aren't a big part of your life. Maybe you own one. Maybe you're a construction guy and a big deal. You got one, whatever. You might wait a minute. You know what? No, I'm not going to try this new thing. I'm going to wait. I don't know it. I'm going to wait till everyone else tries it. Government and non-government should be the same thing. Non-government options, some people will jump on board right away. Some people won't. But as more people jump on it, less people will require government. I think that's the way we wean people off of the government monopoly. So yes. Albert says, same people have been calling the other side literally Hitler or Nazis. Yes, all day long, all the time, every time. Yes, 100%. Red says, only sheep could watch that and not become more dumb than Joe Biden. That's good. That's very good. I like that. Dave says, you are right. Those types of black people are bought and paid for, not racist. They are mouthpieces for the strong men within their communities. That, that's a part also, right, which drives me crazy. You do find some black leaders, and Malcolm X talked about this like 60 years ago. Is it 60 now? Maybe 50, 60 years ago. He spoke about this, that many of the black leaders, and I'll do the air quotes, are supported by the establishment. And the establishment is heavily non-black. So if the establishment supports the black leaders, do the people in the community actually support the black leaders? Many times, no. Right? Many times, no. What the people in the black community wanted, believe it or not, was back in the day, was the Black Panthers. The establishment made sure to actually murder them and then input people, into that area. So yes. So I think that's a point to what you're saying. There actually is. Yes. So, excuse me. Red Rape says, I guess you owe Kennedy shoes now, Larry. Elon Musk actually bought Twitter last week. Yes, however, if you remember, and I got to find this piece now. I said there'll be no change in 6 months. That's what I said. And guess how much time it was? 8 months. I am still correct. What I said was he would do nothing in 6 months. That's what I said. That's on tape. I have the receipts and I'll show you them later. I said 6 months. It was 8 months. And why was it 8 months? Because that's when the courts forced him. The reason why Elon Musk bought Twitter is because he was forced to buy Twitter. He screwed up, lost his lawsuit. I know the feeling. I lost all of mine. I feel your pain, Elon, except yours was far more expensive than mine was. So, and that's why he bought something that he should not have bought for one of the worst deals ever. He bought a $20 billion company for $40 billion. So he has to, right now, he has a fire underneath him to make it worth $40 billion so he can get his money back. So he's going to go out of his way to make it worth something so he can sell it off and make his money back. That's it. Yes. I love it. So yes, I hope that answers your question. I actually am okay with that. So yes. Let's see here. Robert says, New York State's really good at rolling their eyes when people start talking about their rights. Yeah. You talk about your rights? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Ben says, I'm a Democrat and I actually watch Young Turks. That being said, I voted early for Larry Sharpe. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Gun stuff aside, the overreach of these NARs is insane, especially in New York. Guys, I tell you this all the time. I know who the people support me. You don't believe me sometimes, but it's true. About 40% of the people who support me are registered Republican. About 25% are registered Democrats. About 35% are something else. Libertarians, Greens, independent, non-affiliated, about 35%. That's as close to a third and a third and a third you're going to get in the state from any candidate. No one gets all three as well as I do. Doesn't exist. So if someone's going to win this damn thing, or if someone was going to win this thing other than a Democrat, it was going to be me. The Republicans made sure that couldn't happen. So now let's hope we get enough so that we can at least have an independent party so that we can at least fight the establishment. That's the hope, right? We can at least fight the establishment. I hope so, at least. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Paula says panhammers. We get MC Hammer to do a PSA. You can't touch this. Nicely done, Paula. If you are not in marketing, you have missed your calling. That is well done. You can ban hammers. You get MC Hammer to do can't touch this for banning hammers. Yes. 100%. 100% well done. Yes. So good. I love that. All right. Ian says, Larry, I'm Ron Paul's crowd and I'm here for you. Thank you, Ian. Thank you very much. Yes. But if I was able to get Ron Paul to come out here for me, I would not act like everyone's here for me, right? I would be honest and give the man the respect he's due and say, I am very happy to open for Ron Paul, but it's just kind of a Ron Paul event. And that was a DeSantis event. That was not a Zeldin event. No one knows who Zeldin is. I mean, just being forward. So, and he's going to be gone, right? He's just going to be gone later. So you're not going to see him again. Oh, he's going to be some lobbyist or something like that. So yeah. All right. Let's see here. Paula says, Larry used to get more social media support than Zeldin, although Zeldin fans or bots or whatever really hate me. Yeah, absolutely. Ian says, so there are only 13 viewers here calling on Facebook. Yes, this is why, Ian. I actually, I show this on 8 separate places. So there are 8 separate places. Any individual place you see has a few, but you add them all up and it equals thousands, if that makes any sense. So yes, I stream this on many places. The one thing you're watching is only one of 8 different places that I'm streaming to. And I can see comments from all places, from all of the places. So that is the reason why. So yes, overall, Each individual show on each individual place usually gets hundreds of views. Sometimes it'll break 1,000, 2,000, sometimes individually, but overall 8, I always break several thousand views. I wish I used to do more. Before I was shadow banned, if anyone was paying attention, I could get 20,000 views, 10,000 views on just Facebook or just YouTube. Nah, not YouTube that much. Twitter. I can get thousands of views on just one Twitter account or one Facebook account. Then I started talking about the lockdowns. Boom, shadow banned. Shadow banned everywhere. And it went from when I would stream on multiple sites, I get 30, 40,000 views sometimes. On my bigger ones, I get that much, but easily 15, 20,000 views. Easily. Now I struggle to get several thousand views. And I usually get several thousand views, but nowhere near what I used to get. Social media has hurt me tremendously this time around. It wasn't like it was last time, which is why you see me bug you all the time to like, comment, and share. Because every once in a while, usually about every 4 or 5 months only, I get enough people pouring in that it explodes. And I break past the algorithm, whatever the algorithm is, and I'll get thousands and thousands of views. It does happen sometimes. If you look at my YouTube page, you'll see every once in a while one is like huge. It's because that happened. And it's usually every several months, 4 or 5 months, enough will happen. I wish it was more often. It just isn't. I wish it was. So, yes. Anyway. All right. Let's see if I can grab this real fast. I hope that answers your question at least. I hope that answers your question. So Brian goes on to say, it took only 6 months of working for the federal government for Seoul to change. There we go. Ian says, Mosh is the man. He is. You're right. He absolutely is. So I hope that was good. So, all righty. If I could keep doing this. I know gay people who own guns out of legit fear for their safety. It's not a joke. Yes. And those people should have a right. Anyone, gay, straight, trans, whatever you are, if you are concerned for your safety and you think the right answer for your safety is a firearm, you should be able to have one. And for the other woman, if you like her and you're a pacifist and you think you should never own a firearm, then don't get one. But don't force others. And I keep saying that. Let people do what they want to do, what they think is right. That's the issue. So yes. Missy says, right in Larry Sharpe. She is correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right in Larry Sharpe. Guys, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Please like, comment, and share. It does matter. Please, if you can, take the World's Smallest Political Quiz. Share it everywhere you possibly can. If you want to donate, support me, please do so. Now's the time. We got a week left. Every single ad I can get out, every single sign I can get out, every single one I get out does matter. Whatever you got, $10 counts. If you are a wealthy individual and you have not donated thousands of dollars to me, what is wrong with you? If you're wealthy, you should do so. There is absolutely no better investment in this state than to do so. So give what you can. I'm not working when I do this, so I just go into debt. I will work my way out of debt next year, which is why I probably will be running next year, because I have to work my way out of debt. I'll be helping others run, I hope. If we get 130,000 votes, I'll be helping others to run. I'll be out there raising money for them, because that's what I do. I support others when I'm not running. You guys know that. So support me now. LarrySharpe.com/donate. It's the right answer. Please help me out to the best of your ability. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for watching me this evening. I will see you all very soon.